Imagine this. You're sitting at your kitchen table, the clock ticking past midnight. Your phone buzzes with a message from someone you love, your best friend, your partner, maybe even a sibling. It's a long, emotional text. They're upset. They need you. Again. You feel that familiar tug in your chest, the one that screams, "Fix this, make it right, don't let them down." Your fingers hover over the keyboard, ready to pour your heart out, to apologize, to explain, to smooth things over. But deep down, something else stirs. A quiet, nagging voice. Why is this always on me? Why am I the one bending? Now, freeze that moment. That tension, that pull between your heart and your head is where power is won or lost. It's where you decide whether you're going to be the person who controls their destiny or the one who's controlled by others. And Niccolò Machiavelli, the man who wrote the playbook on power 500 years ago, would tell you this: if you let your emotions rule that moment, you're already halfway to defeat. This isn't a video about becoming heartless, it's about becoming strategic. It's about why you must embrace a cold-blooded mindset, not to hurt the people you love, but to protect yourself from being broken by them. Because here's the truth Machiavelli understood: the world doesn't reward kindness. It rewards strength. And strength starts with mastering your emotions, even when it feels impossible. So grab a coffee, settle in, and let's dive into a story. A story about you, about power, and about why Machiavelli's most brutal lesson is the one you need to hear right now. This is Machiavelli, why you must become cold-blooded, even with those you love. Let's start with a story. Picture a guy named Jake. Jake's the kind of person everyone loves. He's loyal, dependable, the one who always shows up when you call. His friends know they can count on him for a ride at 2 a.m. His girlfriend knows he'll drop everything to make her feel better. His family knows he'll put their needs above his own, no questions asked. Jake's a good guy. But here's the problem. Jake's too good. One day, Jake's best friend, Mike, borrows $500. "Just this once, man," Mike says. "I'll pay you back next week." Jake hands over the cash, no hesitation. Weeks turn into months. Mike never mentions the money. Jake brings it up, gently, and Mike gets defensive. "Why you gotta make it a big deal? You know I'm good for it." Jake backs off. He doesn't want to lose the friendship. He loves Mike like a brother. Then there's Jake's girlfriend, Sarah. She's got a temper, and when she's mad, she lets Jake know it. She'll ignore him for days, leaving him spiraling, wondering what he did wrong. When she finally comes back, she expects Jake to apologize, even when he's not sure what he's apologizing for. And he does, because he loves her, because he doesn't want to lose her. And don't get me started on Jake's family. His mum calls every week with a new crisis. His sister needs help with rent. His dad expects him to drop everything for family dinners, even when Jake's swamped at work. Jake says yes to all of it. He feels guilty if he doesn't. He's been raised to believe that love means sacrifice, that family comes first, that loyalty is everything. But here's the kicker. Jake's exhausted. He's broke. He's stressed. And deep down, he's starting to resent the people he loves most. Why? Because Jake's trapped in the emotional loyalty loop. He's giving everything, his time, his money, his energy, without ever asking what he's getting back. And the people around him? They've learned they don't have to give anything back. Why would they? Jake's already proven he'll keep showing up, no matter how they treat him. This is where Machiavelli steps in. In The Prince, his infamous guide to power, Machiavelli drops a truth bomb that hits Jake square in the chest. It is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both. Now, before you roll your eyes and think, "I'm not trying to be some evil dictator," hear me out. Machiavelli wasn't saying you should be a monster.
He was saying that love, when it's unguarded, makes you vulnerable. It makes you predictable. And in a world where people act out of self-interest, predictability is a death sentence. Jake's problem isn't that he loves his friends, his girlfriend, or his family. It's that he loves them unconditionally. He's handed them the keys to his emotional kingdom, and they've learned they can walk in and take whatever they want. Machiavelli would look at Jake and say, "You're not a leader, you're a servant. And the people you love, they're your masters." Let's get real for a second. Love feels like the ultimate good, doesn't it? We're taught that love is selfless, that it's the glue that holds relationships together. Movies tell us love conquers all. Songs tell us love is worth any sacrifice. And when you love someone, really love them, you want to believe they'll never hurt you. You tell yourself, if I'm good to them, they'll be good to me. But Machiavelli saw through that fairy tale. He lived in a cutthroat world, Renaissance Italy, where power changed hands faster than you could blink.
Friends betrayed friends. Families turned on each other. Love didn't stop swords from swinging. And Machiavelli realized something most people don't. Love doesn't protect you. It exposes you. Here's why. When you love someone, you lower your guard. You share your secrets. You forgive their mistakes. You justify their bad behavior. You stop thinking strategically because you assume they're on your side. But Machiavelli knew that even the people closest to you act out of self-interest, not because they're evil, but because they're human. And humans, when given the chance, will take what's offered, especially when they know there's no consequence for taking too much. Let's go back to Jake. His friend Mike didn't borrow that $500 thinking, "I'm gonna screw Jake over." He borrowed it because he knew Jake wouldn't say no. Sarah doesn't ignore Jake for days because she hates him. She does it because she knows he'll come running back. Jake's family doesn't demand his time and money because they're selfish. They do it because Jake's trained them to expect it. In every case, Jake's love has become a liability. It's made him soft, predictable, and worst of all, exploitable. Machiavelli's point isn't that you should stop loving, it's that you should love with limits. You love with a plan. You love with boundaries so sharp they cut. Because without those boundaries, love turns into emotional exposure. And emotional exposure is the fastest way to lose power. So how do you know if you're falling into the same trap as Jake? Let's run through 5 tests, real-world scenarios that reveal whether your love is making you strong or setting you up to be used. These are the patterns Machiavelli would warn you about, the moments where your emotions are being weaponized against you. Test 1. The entitlement test. This one's sneaky. It starts when the people you love stop earning your loyalty. They stop saying thank you. They stop asking for permission. They stop considering how much you're giving. Why? Because they've learned you'll give it anyway. You're theirs. They expect you to show up, to help, to say yes. And the moment you don't, they flip the script. Suddenly, you're the selfish one. You've changed. You're cold. Jake's friend Mike does this when he brushes off the $500 debt. Jake's family does this when they guilt him into canceling his plans for them. They're not grateful for Jake's sacrifices, they're entitled to them. And entitlement is what happens when love goes unquestioned. Machiavelli's advice? Let them feel the sting of your absence. Stop giving when they stop earning. Because the moment they realize you're not theirs anymore, they'll either step up or show you they never deserved you in the first place. Test 2. The guilt reflex. This is a classic. You set a boundary. Maybe you tell your partner you need space, or you say no to a family member's request. And what happens? They get emotional. They cry. They bring up the past. They call you distant or selfish. Suddenly, you're the bad guy. And if you're like most people, you flinch, you backtrack, you apologize.
Why? Because they've learned that guilt is your kryptonite. Jake's girlfriend Sarah is a master at this. When Jake tries to stand up for himself, she goes silent, knowing he'll panic and beg for forgiveness. His mum does it too, with those "after all I've done for you" speeches. They're not trying to understand Jake, they're trying to control him, and guilt is their weapon. Machiavelli would say, "Hold the line." Guilt is just emotional blackmail. If you cave to it, you're teaching them it works. Instead, stay calm. Say, "I hear you, but my decision stands." And watch how fast they switch tactics when guilt stops working.
Test 3. The loyalty loop. This one hurts. You've been loyal, ride or die, always there loyal. You've supported, sacrificed, shown up. But over time, you notice it's one-sided. They stop checking in. They stop reciprocating. They only show up when they need something. And when you finally pull back, they panic, not because they love you, but because they've lost their safety net. Jake's in this loop with Mike. He's been there through Mike's breakups, job losses, late-night crises. But when Jake needs support, Mike's nowhere to be found. And when Jake stops answering Mike's calls, Mike blows up his phone, acting like Jake's the one who's disloyal. It's not love, it's dependency. Machiavelli's take, loyalty is only as valuable as it's reciprocal. If you're the only one giving, you're not in a relationship, you're in a contract where you're the unpaid employee. Break the loop by making your loyalty conditional. Give it only to those who prove they're worthy. Test 4. The "just this once" trap. This is where it starts small. Can you cover this bill just this once? Can you cancel your plans for me just this once? Can you let this slide just this once? But here's the thing, it's never just once. The moment you bend, you've shown you can be bent, and they'll keep pushing until you break. Jake's family is notorious for this. Just this once has turned into a lifestyle of Jake bailing them out, rescheduling his life, overlooking their disrespect. And every time he gives in, he's training them to expect more. Machiavelli would tell you, never bend your values. The first time someone asks for just this once, set a hard line. Say, "I can't do that." No explanation, no apology. Because if you give them an inch, they'll take your whole world. Test 5. The "you're too harsh" defense. This is the final boss. You start setting boundaries. You say no, you pull back, and suddenly you're the villain. They call you cold, heartless, distant. They act like you've betrayed them by protecting yourself. But here's the truth. They don't miss your warmth. They miss the version of you who let them walk all over you. Jake gets this from Sarah when he stops chasing her after her silent treatments. She accuses him of not caring anymore. His family piles on, saying he's too busy for them. They're not upset because Jake's changed. They're upset because they've lost control. Machiavelli's wisdom, let them talk. Their accusations are just noise. They're mourning the loss of their advantage, not the loss of you. Stay firm, because the moment you start defending yourself, you're back in their game, and they know how to win it. So how do you break free from these traps? How do you become the kind of person Machiavelli would respect, someone who commands power without becoming a monster? Let's walk through 6 steps to embrace cold-blooded power while still holding on to your humanity. These aren't just theories, they're a lifestyle, a way to rewrite the rules of your relationships and reclaim your strength. Step 1. Stop explaining your distance. The first rule of cold-blooded power is simple. Never explain why you're pulling back. The moment you start justifying your boundaries, why you need space, why you're saying no, why you're not the same old Jake, you're handing over leverage. Explanations invite negotiation, and negotiation weakens your position. Imagine Jake telling Mike, "I'm not lending you money anymore because you never paid me back." Mike's response? He'll argue, guilt trip, or promise to change. But if Jake just says, "I can't help you with that,"
and leaves it there, Mike has nothing to grip onto. Silence is your shield. Use it. Machiavelli's logic: power doesn't need permission. When you act without explaining, you signal strength, and strength shuts down anyone who tries to manipulate you. Step 2. Set consequences, not conditions. Most people set conditions. Don't talk to me like that again, or if you keep doing this, I'll get upset. But conditions are weak. They're requests, not rules. Machiavelli didn't beg for respect, he made disrespect costly. You don't say, "Don't do that," you show, "When you do that, I disappear." When Sarah gives Jake the silent treatment, he shouldn't plead for communication, he should mirror her silence and let her feel the consequences of her game. When Jake's family demands his time, he doesn't argue, he just stops showing up until they respect his boundaries. Consequences don't loud, they're quiet, they're final, and they teach better than words. Step 3. Define your tolerance with surgical precision. Your boundaries need to be black and white, no grey areas. Jake needs to decide, I don't respond to guilt trips, I don't lend money without a signed agreement, I don't tolerate disrespect even from family. And then he sets those boundaries, he follows through, every time. Machiavelli didn't punish often, but when he did, it was surgical, cold, final. He didn't warn people to respect him, he made them respect him. You do the same by making your rules clear and your actions consistent. People don't respect boundaries, they respect boundaries that bite.
Step 4. Control your presence, not their reactions. Power isn't about controlling how others feel, it's about controlling how you show up. Jake doesn't need to force Sarah to stop her silent treatments or make Mike pay him back. He just needs to control his own moves. When he shows up, when he leaves, when he stays silent. His presence becomes his weapon. Machiavelli knew this. The man who controls his presence controls the room. Show up briefly, speak with purpose, exit while they're still feeling your weight. Don't linger, don't chase, don't beg. Be the one who sets the tempo, and you'll always have the upper hand. Step 5. Make your kindness conditional. You don't have to stop being kind. Jake doesn't need to become a jerk to be powerful, but he needs to stop giving his kindness unconditionally. His kindness should be a gift, not a guarantee. He gives it slowly, after observation, to people who prove they're worthy. When Jake's sister asks for rent money again, he doesn't say yes automatically. He says, "Let's talk about how you're managing your finances." If she pushes back, he walks away. His kindness isn't gone, it's just protected. And that's the key. Kindness with boundaries is power. Kindness without boundaries is weakness. Step 6. Embrace being misunderstood. This is the final test. When Jake starts setting boundaries, people will push back. Sarah will call him cold. Mike will say he's selfish. His family will accuse him of being distant. And Jake will feel the urge to explain, to prove he's still a good guy. But that's a trap. Machiavelli didn't care about being liked, he cared about being respected. He'd tell Jake, let them misunderstand you. Their opinion doesn't change your reality. The people who call you cold aren't mourning you, they're mourning the version of you they could control. Let them go. Because the ones who stay, the ones who respect your new boundaries, are the ones worth keeping.
So, what does it look like to live this way? Let's fast forward a year and check in on Jake. He's not the same guy anymore. He's not bitter or angry. He's just clear. He's learned to love with boundaries, to give without losing, to be strong without being cruel. He's become cold-blooded in the Machiavellian sense, strategic, disciplined, and unapologetic about his power. Jake still talks to Mike, but Mike doesn't ask for money anymore. Why? Because Jake stopped lending it. When Mike pushed back, Jake didn't argue, he just went silent. Mike learned fast, Jake's not a bank. Now their friendship is on Jake's terms, and it's stronger for it. Sarah? She's out of the picture. Jake tried to set boundaries, but Sarah didn't want a relationship where she couldn't control the emotional tempo. When Jake stopped chasing her silent treatments, she left. And you know what? Jake's okay with that. He's dating someone new now, someone who respects his boundaries and matches his energy. His family's a work in progress. They still guilt-trip him sometimes, but Jake doesn't bend. He shows up when it aligns with his priorities, not theirs. And slowly, they're starting to respect him more. They don't like it, but they feel it. And that's what Machiavelli meant by being feared over loved. Jake's not perfect. He still feels the tug of guilt sometimes. He still worries about being seen as cold. But he's learned to sit with that discomfort. He's learned to trust his boundaries over his emotions. And the result? He's calmer. He's stronger. He's in control of his life in a way he never was before. Let's zoom out and talk about how you can apply this cold-blooded mindset to your own life. Because this isn't just about Jake, it's about you. It's about the moment when you feel that pull to give in, to apologize, to keep the peace. It's about the people in your life who've learned they can take without giving back. And it's about deciding right now that you're done being the one who bends. Here are 5 habits to make cold-blooded power a lifestyle, not a theory, but a way of being. These are the rituals Machiavelli would approve of, the daily practices that keep you sharp, strong, and in control.
Habit 1. Move without announcing it. Stop telling people you're changing. Don't post about your new boundaries on social media. Don't text your friend, "I'm done helping you." Just move. Slow your replies. Say no without explaining. Disappear when you need to. Your actions speak louder than any speech ever could. Machiavelli didn't announce his plans, he executed them. When you move quietly, you keep the element of surprise, and surprise is power. Habit 2. Stay polite, never over-familiar. Your warmth should be earned, not automatic. Be polite, be kind, but keep a distance. Don't overshare. Don't let people get too comfortable with your emotions. Why? Because familiarity breeds entitlement. The person who knows your soft spots is the one most likely to push them. Jake learned this with his new girlfriend. He's open, but not too open. He shares, but not everything. He keeps a piece of himself private, and that mystery makes him magnetic. Machiavelli would nod in approval. The man who stays a little untouchable stays in control. Habit 3. Reflect before reacting. This is your secret weapon. When someone disrespects you, don't snap. When they cross a line, don't escalate. Pause. Think. Ask yourself, what does this tell me about them? What's my next move? That pause is what separates the emotional from the powerful. Jake used to spiral when Sarah ignored him. Now, when someone pulls away, he observes. He waits. He lets their actions reveal their intentions, and that clarity gives him the upper hand every time. Habit 4. Never reopen without re-qualification. If you cut someone off, don't let them back in just because they apologize or it's been a while. Make them earn it. Have they changed? Have they respected your boundaries? If not, they don't get access to the new you. Jake's sister tried to guilt him into helping with rent again. He didn't say yes until she showed she was working on her finances. That re-qualification wasn't cruel, it was fair, and it set a new standard for their relationship. Habit 5. Treat your peace as a strategy.
Your peace isn't a feeling, it's a fortress. Protect it like one. Don't let people disturb it with drama, guilt, or demands. Don't let your emotions pull you into battles that aren't yours. Live quietly, love selectively, and let your strength speak for itself. Jake doesn't talk about his boundaries anymore. He just lives them. And the people around him, they feel the difference. They respect him, not because he demands it, but because he commands it.
Let's wrap this up with a story, a real one this time. A few years ago, I knew a woman named Lisa. Lisa was like Jake, loyal, kind, always there for everyone. Her friends leaned on her for advice. Her family relied on her for support. Her boyfriend expected her to be his emotional anchor. But Lisa was drowning. She felt like she was giving pieces of herself away and no one was giving anything back. One day, Lisa read The Prince. It hit her like a lightning bolt. She realized she'd been playing the game of life all wrong. She'd been leading with love, assuming it would protect her, but it hadn't. It had made her vulnerable, predictable, and worst of all, used. So Lisa decided to change. She didn't become cold or cruel, she became strategic. She stopped explaining her no's. She set consequences for disrespect. She made her kindness conditional. And when people called her distant or selfish, she let them. She didn't defend herself, she just kept moving. Today, Lisa's life looks different. Her friendships are stronger because they're reciprocal. Her family respects her time because they know she won't bend. She's single now, but not because she's closed off. She's just waiting for someone who matches her strength. Lisa's not perfect, but she's powerful. And that power came from one decision: to embrace Machiavelli's cold-blooded truth. So here's the final lesson. You don't have to lose your heart to gain power. You just have to protect it with a system. Love, but love with boundaries. Give, but give with conditions. Be kind, but be kind on your terms. Because in a world where everyone's playing for their own interests, the only way to win is to play smarter. Machiavelli wasn't a monster, he was a realist. He knew that power isn't about being the loudest, the angriest, or the most emotional. It's about being the one who stays calm, who stays clear, who stays in control, no matter who's in the room. So the next time your phone buzzes at midnight with that emotional text, pause. Ask yourself, what would Machiavelli do? And then act. Not with your heart, but with your head. Not with love, but with strategy. Because that's what it takes to rise and stay on top.
This video isn't for everyone. It's not for the naive, the ones who think love will always save the day. It's for the ones who felt the sting of betrayal, the weight of entitlement, the pain of giving too much. It's for the ones ready to rewrite their story, not as the hero who sacrifices everything, but as the leader who commands respect. You can keep being Jake, the good guy who bends until he breaks, or you can become Lisa, the one who loves fiercely but protects herself fiercely too. The choice is yours, but if you choose power, if you choose to embrace Machiavelli's cold-blooded truth, know this: you're not losing your soul, you're gaining your strength. Thanks for watching. If this hit home, drop a comment and tell me, have you ever had to go cold-blooded to protect yourself? And if you want more lessons like this, hit that subscribe button. Let's keep building your power, one strategy at a time. Until next time, stay sharp, stay strong, and stay in control.